Hello, my name is Michael Nader. I'll be interpreting from ASL to English of Oralism versus Speaking by Lentz. Here we go. I would like to discuss two words, two ideas. The first being oralism and the second being speaking speech skills. I look around and I notice people in the deaf hood that are against oralism, meaning that they're against deaf people who can speak, against hearing people, against English, and other variations related to that. Me, myself, I am against oralism. I read a book called Paddy Lad, and in that book it analyzed and explained that it was awful, and that system in relation to oralism was a disaster. A long time ago in Milan in 1880, there was a radical change. Speaking was excelling and, so to say, throwing out the window sign language, or it was very limited. That change was in relation to another word called autism. People thought they were against oralism meant speaking was wrong. And no, that's not the case. It's very different. Speaking speech skills, voicing, is fine. Sure, that's okay. You're hearing, that's fine. You can speak, that's great. A deaf person signs very well, that's awesome too. That's terrific, fine. Some deaf people tend to pick up speaking and socialize with hearing people and use their voice to communicate with them. That's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. Problem with that is the attitude of speaking people hold themselves high, hold speaking higher in relation to signing. That the majority of people speak. Alexander Graham Bell thought his way of thinking was signing is fine, but he wanted to let everyone know that mostly everyone was hearing, and that there was a very little group of deaf and signing people, and that they would have to fix that problem if they wanted to immerse themselves into the hearing community and hearing world. And that speaking did look down on sign language. And that was called autism. That oppression was called autism, and it was related to oralism. Some deaf people out there grew up speaking and enjoyed it. That's fine. That's great. There's no problem with that. Nothing at all. But how many hours upon hours of practice and practice speaking of a deaf person compared to the hours of socializing with deaf people that could sign very well, very skilled compared to one another. If the speaking excelled, the signing declined. And that's wrong. If speaking was higher, just hold themselves higher than signing, that's a kind of oppression. And that is supporting oralism. That's not what we like. Supporting oralism is wrong. We should finish with that. If speaking itself, separate from signing, speaking alone, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You're hearing, you should be able to speak. That's great. For example, if we're on a road and there's deaf people along the sidewalks there, and a group came together and started discussing issues, not related deaf, anything like that, and they call in a city officer, and he comes in, he doesn't know sign, but everybody else knows sign, hearing, it doesn't matter, everybody involved. The officer comes, he starts discussing, and he doesn't know sign, so that's okay, fine, we can bring in an interpreter and start speaking. That's fine, the interpreter will interpret the conversation. Of course, I've seen that happen for a long time. No problem with that. Can people always understand that? Sure. Many of us hearing, have parents, children speaking, we notice them chatting, and we just tend to say that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem with that is if it's excluded, forgotten, kind of pushed to the wayside. The problem that arises with that is called what? Autism. That's different. These two things are different. Oralism, leave it alone, it's different. We should not support oralism or encourage it. No. We need to get rid of it. Speaking itself is fine. We should never have one higher than the other. Hearing higher than the other, then compared to signing, they should be equal. If you don't know sign, but you want to be involved in the deaf community, you should learn sign. But if you refuse, we don't need that lousy attitude. That's wrong. Oralism is never fair to signing. It always feels like it's higher compared to sign language. Always. That's always been that way. So, oralism, our duty as deaf citizens of the world to get rid of oralism, get rid of autism, that. To get rid of speaking altogether, that is silly. Okay, thank you very much.